Can you go ahead and fire up the old breaking news sounder?
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're going with here.
A quarterback change in New England. The Patriots are now planning to turn rookie first-round pick Drake Maye loose. He is going to start Sunday's game at the Houston Texans or against the Houston Texans. Per source, this is according to Adam Schefter of ESPN.
Seeing Ian Rappaport report the same thing.
All right, there you go. So it's all of the insiders got the same text, and it was who could send out the tweet the fastest.
Basically.
Maye will now join Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix as the fourth rookie quarterback to start this season, and I believe that will leave Michael Penix Jr. as the only rookie not to start. This one, here's why I believe he should play. So I actually like this is happening.
All right.
Because I think if struggling your rookie year ruins you mentally, you probably didn't have the mental fortitude to make it as a quarterback in the NFL. For those of you that argue, Brady sat, Mahomes sat, Rodgers sat, I think you're selling those guys short, acting as if they wouldn't reach the heights they did if they played right away. Mm-hmm. Like there's a good chance, Mahomes, we would have just had another awesome season of Mahomes, and the records he's breaking in first 8 years of a career would just be broken further. He would have broken them all last year. So I believe you play Drake Maye. However, I also am a big fan of consistency in message. Right? If you are a coach and you have something you believe in, you have to stick to your guns. Gerard Mayo was not playing Drake Maye. Right? No arguments there. He played one series at the end of a blowout. He was not playing Drake Maye. And part of the reason, the assumed reason, was because the offensive line is no good and they wanted to protect him. If that's the case, Houston ain't the team to break him out against, right? If that's the case, Houston ain't the one to jump out there. Why do I say that? Well, I say that for this reason. If you were to sort defense, this is going to take a while. There you go. They give up a bunch of yards, but they also get after the quarterback a bit.
They are sixth in the NFL in sack percentage.
They have who was the third overall draft pick last year with C.J. Stroud? Will Anderson
from Alabama.
They've got some dudes there that'll get after the quarterback, and the Patriots' offensive line is suffering an injury by the day, it seems.
Yeah, they kind of stink.
Why in the world, if you were not playing him the first 5 weeks to protect him, would you roll him out now? Unless you're Gerard Mayo and you're starting to feel people complain about you and you're like, hey, we beat Cincinnati to start the year, but now we're 0-4, and people are starting to say, oh, maybe you're not the guy, and you're feeling that, and you want to put out somebody who is a little bit more mobile, a little bit younger, a little bit bigger, taller, stronger than Jacoby Brissett to allow everyone to build just a little bit of excitement. Because let's be real, Drake Maye goes out there, throws 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, doesn't have to do anything crazy. Suddenly, New England fans are excited again. You could lose the game. You could be 1-5, but hey, we got our guy. It's confusing to me. I'll put it that way. And by the way, Houston, like I said, they get after the quarterback. Both the Jets and Tennessee, who they play in their next 4 games, are amongst I believe, the top 5 teams in the NFL in defense. So
Jets are second in the NFL in sack percentage, and I think they actually are number 1 in terms of yards per play allowed.
So you're rolling them out into a gauntlet a little bit.
They also
here.
just fired their head coach, so who knows?
True. You think Robert Saleh was the reason why?
Maybe.
I'm playing both sides of the fence here, and I know it. I think it's good that he's going to play. I think the number one thing he needs is reps. Get in there, make mistakes, learn from them so you don't make them again. Get in there, see what passes and what doesn't in the NFL. I think Caleb Williams is learning that. Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams early on in his career, or he's played, 5 games?
Like a month ago?
Early on in the season, you could see him trying to do the Pac-12 after dark thing where he was like, I'm just going to make this guy miss. I'm going to scramble 30 yards back, and then I'm going to run back to the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to make a completion. If you watched him against Carolina this past weekend for Chicago, there was a lot of subtle movements in the pocket, still using his quick twitch, still using his spins and his moves, but he wasn't quite going full Fran Tarkenton. He's already learning what does play and doesn't play at the NFL level. Drake Maye needs to get in there and learn that. And if he's going to struggle and that's going to ruin his confidence, and I know this all comes up with Bryce Young, I tend to go, well, if playing poorly your rookie year with a bad team around you, your brain can't connect that and let yourself off the hook a little and say, I should still be confident, I'm not sure you were going to make it in the NFL. Because the NFL starting quarterbacks, I don't care how good you are, the ebbs and flows of your career will test you. Aaron Rodgers has 4 MVPs. He's in a washing machine right now, getting tumbled around in the media. And what's the problem? And is the quarterback no good? Heck, we'll even go closer to home. Andy Dalton at one point in time was a second-round pick that went to the playoffs 5 consecutive years. You think his career hasn't tested him? You're darn right it has. But somehow he came out on the other side and played pretty darn good for 2 weeks for the Panthers. If you're going to make it as a quarterback, you're going to have to deal with struggles, and you're going to have to bounce back, and you're going to have to be resilient, and you're going to have to be confident in you. It's one of the things I love about Baker. And seeing him now working in Tampa is, gosh, he looked bad at times. But you know who never really let himself believe that he was bad? Baker. There's something there in a quarterback's brain. So I say play him. The thing I don't like is you didn't play him already for 5 weeks. What has changed between then and now to play him? Are you sitting there going, oh, well, they lost 4 games, so now we believe we're not a playoff contender? If you thought the Patriots were a playoff contender at the beginning of the year, what are we doing here? Then we need to step back and look at how you evaluate football. There are big enough problems.
By the way, to tie this conversation back into our feedback frenzy, Brody on our YouTube live chat says they're going to ruin him like we, the Carolina Panthers, did Bryce. No good O-line, no good receivers, just like Carolina.
Yeah, but go back and look at what the Bengals were before Burrow. Go back and look
terrible O-line.
Go back and look at what the Texans were before Stroud. Go back, if you got it as a quarterback, I'm not saying you're going to be like a Pro Bowler, but I'm saying we'll watch it and go, oh, that's a good quarterback behind a bad offensive line. We watched Joe Burrow run around so much and end up actually tearing his knee up, and still you're like, ooh, I can't wait to see what they do when they put an offensive line around him. At any point in time, did you see that for Bryce? We said that for Bryce because it's, you can't really judge him because he doesn't have this or he doesn't have that. But was there ever something you saw for more than a fleeting moment that said, oh, I can't wait to see that with XYZ? I mean, let me just make sure I have my stats right before I make this next point, because I don't want to lead you astray. So let me bring it up here quickly. Perfect. Does anybody remember what the Buffalo Bills were before Josh Allen showed up?
Terrible.
They were terrible. And his first year, he completed 52% of his passes, threw more interceptions than touchdowns, had a big struggle sesh.
Oh, yeah, he was rough.
But there's a bunch of you going, huh, really? That's because if you watch the game 4 or 5 times a game, you saw something that said, whoa, they got something there. Next year, touchdown to interception ratio about 2-1. Next year, 37-10. Right? As the team, and by the way, that third year, 37-10 is when he got Stephon Diggs. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, I want to see what he's going to look like. That's what you want to see from Drake. Now that Drake's in there, you don't want you want him to, don't get me wrong. You don't need him to go out there and look like a MVP candidate. You want him to go out there and look like a good quarterback on a bad team. You want him to go out there and look like somebody who it's like, ooh, wait a second, get him a number 1 wide receiver in a line, and this might be something special. That's what you're looking for. But the timing of it does make me a little sketchy, because it's like, well, what were you so convicted in at the beginning of the year that has changed now? And if it was, by the way, I did some research here for you. This is from earlier today in my research. They have 13 games left. The Patriots do. In their next 6 games, The pressure percentage average ranking, so like, hey, if you get a pressure on the highest amount of dropbacks, you'd be number 1. The pressure percentage ranking of their opponents is 12.3 on average. The 7 games they finished their season with, 21.3. And if you want to go to their last 4 games after the bye, 27th, 26th, 29th, 26th. So there is a cozy little spot to drop them into the lineup if you choose to. It's just not right now.